What up? Welcome back to the Come On You Know podcast. I'm your host with the most. So, a little on cloud nine. My Jets won. We beat the Eagles. Eagles, you should have done better, but we did better and we won. So, how about that? Go home. Go home back to Philadelphia, Southern New Jersey, or wherever Philadelphia is. Bye. Bye. Not fly, Eagles, fly. Bye, Eagles, bye. But there's that. So, yeah, I have a little bit of energy to do a show, do an epi. Yo, my Jets won against one of, if not the best team in the NFL. I know a lot of you don't care, but I care. And my boys, my gang green, the green line took them out at home. What a high. We did it. We just won a Super Bowl. We're done. Season is over. Championship game was won tonight. We're done. We're good. We have rings. We have rings now. We're good. Anyway, so I wanted to talk about I had a decent day. Well, with this win, it was over the top, but I wanted to talk about the difference, like friendship. I know I made an episode about friendship before. This is different. The differences in friendship. I don't like to get into the men and women thing, but women, like with women friendships and men with men friendships, is different. So I wanted to talk about that. Got a little insight on that topic, or that being a thing, and yeah, I thought about it. Like my friends, my besties. I have a female friend that is one of my besties ever. I was in her wedding, and of course I have male besties. And men and women can be friends, but I think there is a different dynamic between men being men friends and women being friends with women. And it's from observation in life. You know, I don't like to toot my own horn, but whatever qualifies you to be a genius, I'm pretty sure I qualify to be a genius. And so I just want to talk about my observations and talk about my perspective and what it is. So anyway, it's about how women are friends with women and men are friends with men, the differences. So I am an expert on how men are being friends with men. So I think here's one huge difference. So men are more harsh with each other, and harsh is subjective because people can translate statements, opinions differently. But I have a best friend, and everything I do, if it's not over the top or if it's not meeting whatever his mark, he's like, "Oh, you're punk, you're blah 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 blah." It's like, yo, because I use dish soap instead of licking my plate and putting it, in a dishwasher. "Oh, you're a punk, you didn't do this." It's like, well, pardon me. It's like, okay, I get it. And I believe like, well, we were just bred that way. And I'm different generation, I'm a little traditional back in the day. But he's like, "Hey, you didn't wake up with your boots on your, laced up on your feet automatically, so you're a punk." Like, I don't think it works that way. But I understand what he's saying, and that's my friend, and love him to death, and that's just how it works. And I believe that women on the opposite end, they kind of give the opposite type of criticism and advice. They may say, "Oh yeah, you do look good in this," or "Everything is good," when you really don't. They won't degrade you, but they'll give you maybe like a false positive acknowledgement of something. And I don't want to say truth, but like I don't want to say like men are more truthful, because I can guarantee a lot of people will disagree with me. But I think we don't like, we associate what women do with women. So like if my boy is like, "Oh man, you look good in that," like no, he's not gonna say that, because that's what a woman would do. Like would tell her friend like, "Hey, you look great in that," right? We're like, "Yo, like hey, you you look dumb, and but it's okay. Let's go out anyway." And a woman is like, "Hey, you look fabulous," when she doesn't really look fabulous. So I think the relationship between like women and women as friends and men as friends, it's different, and I think it's about more so protecting feelings and kind of dodging accountability, if that makes sense. Like I think a girl as a friend will withhold telling her friend if she's not, I mean, good friends will just kind of tell you whatever whenever, but I think they will spare her feelings. Girl as a friend will spare her girlfriend's feelings just to kind of keep it going. And then a dude as a friend is not concerned about feelings, but they're concerned about action. It's like, "Hey, you look dumb, change, let's go out." And just to kind of keep things in motion. But that's just the dynamic I believe to be. I could be wrong, but I'm rarely wrong. We can go with that. But I think, I mean, it's always room for improvement in both relationships. I think a male bestie to another male bestie can keep it in the holster a little bit, just like, not blow things up immediately. And I am a, you can accuse me of doing it. Like I talk crap to my boys all the time. Like that's how we start off immediately on the phone. It's like, "Yo, man, shut up." It's like, "Yo, I called you. How you gonna talk to me and the first thing you say is shut up?" But that's just how we roll. And female on female, I believe the first thing they say doesn't have to be, "Hey girl, hey, the sky is blue and we could blah blah blah." It's like, "Hey, what are you going through? Let's put a stake in the grass, start from here, and move forward." There's that. So that is my perspective. What else? Like I believe that, like I'm not trying to be insulting to any of the like situations or any of the scenarios that I'm mentioning, like women being best friends with women and men being best friends with. It's not at all like a criticizing session. It's just an observation, but whatever. I think also what I believe, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, is that if a woman fights with her best friend, which is a woman, I think they can be a little bit more petty than men. Like men, us, my best friends, like we fight, but it'll be over. Like once we fight, like that is the solution to whatever is going on. We fight, bada bing, it's done. Then we're still friends. Or if we don't talk for weeks, when we talk, it's like it doesn't even matter. We didn't skip a beat. I believe like women do not like, they take the indirect kind of route. Like, hey, we're fighting, so we're fighting. That's where we stand. That is where we stand. We are fighting, so we are fighting. So like that's it. Not fighting to get it over with, but this is our place. This is our predicament. This is where we are, so we're fighting. And I think that is the main difference. It's like, hey, I can, unless a friend that I'm just done with, like, you know, I cut the cord, like cable. Like unless that friend is like completely erased out of my life, I can talk to him like we didn't miss a beat. I don't think women can do that. And you can tell me otherwise. If that's not the truth, if I'm making up crap, if I'm just delusional, which I rarely am, I'm only delusional about Jets wins. Just let me know. But I think that women kind of hold on to, hey, we're not talking, so we're not talking. That's our status. We're not talking. Hey, you know, Barbara and I had a fight. That's how it is. We're not talking. So guys are just, you know, we'll think, hey, you know, I didn't talk to my boy in a couple of weeks, whatever, blah, blah, blah. He calls, I call. So, hey, what's up, man? What's up? This happened, blah, blah, blah. We catch up, blah, blah. And I think that is very common with guys and it's very uncommon with females. I think if a female has not talked to a friend in a while, that's the status they're in. They're not talking. So what else? How do you make up? And what is, like, how petty is, how petty? What is too petty in regards to a friendship and fighting and stuff like that? So how do you make up? With dudes, we don't make up. We like straight up, like, yo, call and like, yo, what's up? How was the last 6 months? Like, you know, I had a flat tire. I won a couple of games in Madden. Rained a couple of times. Boom. It's like, okay. Same thing happened to me. I think women make up in more subtle ways. Like, hey, I'll send you a link to an Instagram snippet. I don't know, TikTok post, and I don't know, show like pictures of I got my nails done and the orange was on point. I think that's the difference. And it's a difference. Neither one is better or worse, but it's just a difference. And I think that's the thing. And you know what? I wanted to make mention to, like, if males and females can be friends. My answer is yes. Like, I have a best friend. She's a female. And like, we've talked about life a lot and we've gone through life and we talked about dating and we talked about professional life and what we've gone through. We talked about like racism, whatever ism, pick it, moveism. We've lived in different cities and talked about that. And when you really value somebody as a person, it doesn't matter what like external differences they have, rather it's sex, race, food choices, physical fitness choices. I don't know, I'm just making up stuff, but it doesn't. Like, once you hit that maturity level and respect and understand a person for who they are and what they are, you can definitely maintain like a friendship. Like, it's a thing, and you can value and respect that friendship. But yeah, but And I've learned a lot through my friend that's a female, and that is how I'm able to talk about, girls being friends with girls and guys being friends with guys. Like she's taught me a lot as well. Like you just soak up a lot through experiences. But yeah. So back to the topic at hand. Oh, and I want to talk about when is being petty too petty as far as making up, being friends. Like we kind of all know. Come on, podcast. Like, come on, when petty is too petty. It's like when when your friends being too petty is when your friend's action. If your friend does a certain thing to try to make up with you after you had an altercation or a long time apart, you've been estranged for some dumb reason, but you still don't utilize that as a bridge to make up, that's being too petty. So what I'm saying is, if your friend is the type that you're beefing or you have an issue, and they like say certain things to you directly, but it's not addressing the issue, but they're trying to open up the door because they aren't the one to bridge that, to kind of put out the fire, and then you're just like, well, whatever. I know that's how that person is, but I'm gonna still shop for early Christmas gifts. Then that's being petty, and being petty can go too far when you are damaging the relationship. So it's like, hey, I know what I need to do to help my friend kind of like come back to me or help me bridge this gap or whatever. And you just you're like, whatever, I don't care. I'm just going to continue to watch my soap operas or whatever comes on TV now. Although my friend is reaching out, I'm going to get out, like I'm going to literally do what I need to do. Like, oh, pardon me. I'm going to go out of my way to ignore my friend or do something just contentious that doesn't help the progression of the situation. So like we know what being petty is about. And I definitely know because I am super petty. You call me Tom Richard Petty the third. Straight up. I am the mayor of Pettyville. And I will continue to be. But we all know. And it's not, if it's not helpful to the friendship and if it's taken away from the friendship, then it's just being petty. And we know. We know, and all of that. But anyway, so back to the subject at hand. So I'm not saying it's a difference. I'm not saying men being best friends with men are better, women being best friends with women better, but we just have our differences. And I think the point is, if you have a friend that is that's the opposite sex of you can learn from that and listen and see how they manage their friendships, because you have to manage friendships. Friendships are a gift. They're not just a given. We do, especially if you get a little bit older like I am, and things aren't easily maintained and they're not a given and they can go away in an instant. But I think there is a significant difference between women being friends with women, men being friends with men. But just because there's a difference, it doesn't mean it's different, if that makes sense. Like, we all know women know how to manage their friendships. Men know how to manage their friendships Just because they're different doesn't mean you need to tap into the other side to see if you could make it better. Just manage it better. Like, that's the key. So, okay, the Jets won, and that's all I got.